My brother and I went to go see the Super Mario Galaxy movie the day it came out, and it was one of the most enjoyable cinema experiences I have ever had in my entire life. I had a great time. My brother had a great time. It was a very fun, very enjoyable, honestly fantastic movie overall. That's not to say that this movie is above criticism. That's not to say that this movie doesn't have any problems, but I was not expecting it to get this much hate. Like, I knew that the critics weren't gonna like it because they didn't even like the first movie. But like, I've been seeing this movie get a lot of hate from critics and even a decent amount of fans alike, and I'm like, golly, y'all really hate this movie that bad? Like, okay, now I'm all for respecting opinions. I have my own criticisms with this movie, but I do think that the good in this movie has gone under the radar. I think this movie is a bit underappreciated. So I'd like to talk about why I believe the Super Mario Galaxy movie is underrated, and I'll be talking with my brother here as well. Okay, and I think one of the more fair criticisms of this movie is that Rosalina didn't get enough screen time. Yeah, I can agree with that. Rosalina deserved more screen time. She is shown in the beginning of the movie, in the opening scene, getting captured by Bowser Jr. She gets kidnapped. They have that whole backstory with her and Peach. And then she doesn't really do much until the end of the movie, where they finally free her. So yeah, they could have done more with Rosalina. That being said, even though she didn't have a lot of screen time, I think they got her character spot on. Like, her personality, how protective of her Lumas she is, how motherly she is, how kind she is. All of that was portrayed very accurately, so they did do justice to her character. They just didn't give her enough screen time. The other big complaint I've been hearing people say in regards to Rosalina is that Rosalina was nerfed in the movie. Now, I do think they portrayed her as powerful, especially when she was battling Mega Leg. The only reason that Bowser Jr. was able to capture her was because he ended up putting one of her Lumas in danger, and Rosalina sacrificed herself, focusing more on protecting the Luma than she was watching her back, and Bowser Jr. took advantage of that. Like, I think they still portrayed her pretty strong. Overall, I would say that movie Rosalina is about as strong as Super Smash Bros. Rosalina. I think that works okay. Now, do you want to know what character they absolutely hit the nail on the head for? Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr. was locked in this entire movie, and he put in so much work. First of all, one of the great things about this movie is how Bowser Jr. is portrayed as much of a threat as his father is, if not even more so. Like, they portray him as such a menace to society, in this case a menace to the universe. He kidnaps Rosalina, locks her up in this giant glass container, and drains her life force the entire movie up until the end, and basically tortures her. And he ran the entire Koopa Troop during Bowser's absence. They portray him as the true heir to the Koopa throne, an absolute master at leadership, at dictatorship. He's just such a evil yet fun and enjoyable villain, and the voice acting is phenomenal with him. Like, when Bowser is talking to his son, and like, he's just showing how much he loves his dad, and they have all these moments about like how Bowser had bedtime stories with his son and stuff. Like, they really did nail that childlike aspect of Bowser Jr.'s character without taking away his threat level. He still feels like a very serious and competent villain when he needs to be. And touching on his relationship with Bowser, that's honestly probably the highlight of the movie for me. They portrayed Bowser and Bowser Jr.'s relationship perfectly. Bowser Jr. loving his father, Bowser worrying that he's a bad father, but actually turns out his son truly loves him. They have such a wholesome and sweet dynamic, despite the fact that they're both power-tripping tyrants. And Bowser actually had a very satisfying character arc during this movie. He starts off in a shrunken phase because, you know, they punished him in the last movie. And, you know, he goes on this rehabilitation arc where he is supposedly reformed and, you know, and asks Mario to make him big again. And then, you know, he kind of somewhat befriends the Mario Bros for a while until Bowser Jr. takes him back. And, you know, some people say that Bowser Jr. was manipulating his father into becoming evil again. That's not how I saw it at all. Like, honestly, it felt more like that Bowser Jr. knows his father as evil, so he was just reminding him of who he really is. Like, I don't think there was any manipulation involved, really. Bowser's just not a good person, and of course he's gonna side with his son over the Mario Bros. What I really like about Bowser's arc in this is that it's an anti-redemption arc. Like, you start thinking, you know, maybe Bowser is gonna redeem himself, but no, they completely shut that down, and that's great because we're in an era where people really don't like redemption arcs anymore, or rather, redemption arcs just aren't done very well in recent history. You know, people have a lot of complaints about genocidal tyrants being redeemed. Steven Universe. So Bowser having an anti-redemption arc, not getting redeemed, going back to his old ways through bonding with his son. In my opinion, that was some genius writing, and it really worked for the story. Like, people say, oh, there's not that much substance or story here. No, I'd argue that there is, and one of the main points in this story is Bowser and Bowser Jr.'s relationship and Bowser's character arc, his anti-redemption arc.
Bowser's Planet, the different scenes. We went to, you know, Bowser Jr. made a planet for his dad, and the different times they showed, it was choreographed differently. When Bowser Jr. first goes there after capturing Rosalina, you know, it's different scenes, it's more faster paced because Bowser Jr.'s already been here. This isn't for him to rediscover, but for the audience, when Bowser first sees it, it's more like festivities, you know, activities done. They had the Koopas become dry bones. Like, it showed that there's more to this world, more to this galaxy than just when Bowser Jr. first went back there after capturing Rosalina. So I appreciate the time and effort they showed to expand on the planet that Bowser Jr. made for his dad. Alright, the post-credit scene, there was two, but I'm here to talk about the Bowser and Bowser Jr. in jail, you know? You see the crazy Luma, the things he said, dying, you know, dust your bones until there's nothing left. Like, that's real threats. But it's just the way they articulate it was comedic, it was nice. Seeing them try to dig out of jail, knowing that that's insufficient, it's gonna take too long. I just really appreciate Bowser Jr. and his dad's dynamic in the entire movie, and it really cultivates in the end, because no matter, you know, where they are or what they're doing, they're still gonna rock with each other. And the Luma is we gotta watch out for that one.
Next up, let's talk about my boy Yoshi. Now, first of all, in this movie, Yoshi does not talk. But overall, I think this was a good decision because him not talking, at least not talking clearly, I mean, he still says his name and makes noises and whatnot, but not, you know, having full dialogue. I think this was a good decision because Yoshi comes across as a lot more charming than he would be if he was able to talk.
Yoshi's introduction into the movie was, I appreciate it as a fellow New Yorker. You know, I can be traveling from time to time to New York to see family. I appreciate just the scenes in New York, the subway, the pizza, just going down the streets, and how most New Yorkers, we don't care. Like, no one really cared that is a big green dinosaur, you know, going around the streets. Like, until a problem arrived, after Yoshi went to the museum and actually did a crime, then, you know, the police is what leads Yoshi into the world of Super Mario. So I appreciate this, the realness of, you know, most people wouldn't care until, you know, he does something, but it's only the authorities that would actually care, not, you know, the regular civilians that we deal with a lot stranger things than a green dinosaur. So I appreciate that.
Now, while the movie doesn't get too deep into Yoshi's game Pacific origins, it does reference them, So if you're a Yoshi fan, you know that Yoshi's whole backstory is that he took care of baby Mario and baby Luigi a long time ago. And the way they show this in the movie is by having a segment dedicated to Yoshi taking care of baby Mario and baby Luigi as they're being pursued by that Tyrannosaurus Rex from Super Mario Odyssey. I think this was a clever way to reference that. Now, regarding Toad, they do hint at a rivalry, really a one-sided rivalry between Yoshi and Toad, because Toad is jealous that Yoshi is now part of the gang. And while they don't really seem to do much with it, I will say I think this is an incident of show, don't tell. Because Toad was present with Yoshi during that whole dinosaur escape scene, and afterwards Toad doesn't have a problem with Yoshi anymore. So I think Yoshi really earned Toad's respect during that scene, and it was just more of like a subtle thing that you can just take a note of. Now, I do think that they handled Princess Peach better in the second movie than she was handled in the first movie. In the second movie, they show her more girly girl side, her more sweet side, namely the scene where she made tea for that Luma that came asking for her help. So she feels a bit more, a bit more feminine, and sweet, because that's what she's supposed to be. Now, what I do really appreciate is that they finally gave Princess Peach her parasol, because in the first movie, they gave Peach a battle axe to threaten Bowser with, and that is completely out of character. Princess Peach would not wield a battle axe, she would wield her parasol, and she uses that parasol in combat, and it makes me feel like I'm watching Super Smash Bros. Peach, like, I think that just does a lot for her character, showing that she can turn femininity badass. Instead of just being badass, she can turn girly things and make it badass. I think that works more for Peach's character than just turning her into this karate girl who's perfect and can just do everything like how she was more or less in the first movie. And speaking of Princess Peach's parasol, do you know where she got it from? She got it as a gift from none other than Mario himself. And that's something that this movie does really well, is how it handles the Mario Peach shipping. It's really cute. Like the scene where Mario is, he reaches out for a handshake while Peach wants a hug. It's cringy, but it's cute because, Peach wanted the hug. It's not like Peach didn't want the hug. The chemistry is still there. Now, Rosalina and Peach being sisters, that is gonna take some getting used to. But Rosalina and Peach had a very cute sisterhood. Like I enjoyed their dynamics. I enjoyed that Peach actually had to struggle to free her sister at the end. She couldn't just use violence to solve all her problems. They actually had to touch their hands together through the glass, and that's what actually set Rosalina free. So they do have a very cute dynamic. Fox McCloud from Star Fox, his appearance in the movie was enjoyable. I don't know nothing about Star Fox. I'm not a Star Fox fan. I've never played a Star Fox game in my life, but I did recognize Fox from Super Smash Bros. And he was fun. He was a fun character. I liked his dynamic with the other characters.
Animation in the new Mario movie, I appreciate it. It was nice. The color palette, just the detail. I can tell the animators took there a long time. I appreciate just the inspiration, taking it from the games, Mario Odyssey, Mario Galaxy. This is the Mario Galaxy movie, so just the animation and the scenes overall was beautiful. The lighting, the character designs, I really appreciate the time and effort they took into all that. And even Bowser Jr., they took a little inspiration from Sunshine. It was nice. The fighting choreographed was well done. I appreciate the different galaxies and the themes. Now the sequences when Peach and Toad expectively just leave, without, she wrote a letter, but she left the kingdom in Mario and Luigi's hands. And with the help of Yoshi, they succeeded in taking care of the problems around the Mushroom Kingdom. And it was done in the classic style of Super Mario Bros, going level through level. You're seeing different power-ups. It just, the flagpole at the end, the sound effects. It was just, game design was inspired by that scene. I really appreciate them putting that level of detail, making it seem like, World 1 / 1-1, 1-2. Mario and Peach, they're, in the castle, Bowser Jr. has a trap for them. Set in like, you go into Bowser's Kingdom in, the Super Mario Bros. Games, and you gotta go through the castle level. And Bowser Jr. had a bunch of traps, and they go back from the 2D art style to the 3D art style, going back and forth, just showing, hey, this is a level. And or like Mario Maker, like you're making the level as you're doing it at the same time. And speaking of Mario Maker, they also did a nice reference when they have to rebuild Peach's castle from the ground up, because under Mario and Luigi's watch, the castle did get destroyed, even though it wasn't their fault. Now Luigi, he was fiending in the movie, not overly, but the jokes he was making with Mario and Peach, he really wished that was him. Like Mario was asking Mario, hey, Peach knows somebody. Like, Luigi, I didn't know that was your part of your game. Like, he trying to run a 2-man with Mario. Like, I see you, Luigi. He trying to get you your own. And we know, Luigi got Daisy, and then, Daisy's in the post-credit scene. So, I'm rooting for you, Luigi.
Another thing, too, that it doesn't get enough credit for, I think this movie was genuinely funny. Not like stupid kiddie funny, but like, I think there were a lot of legitimately well-written, chuckle-worthy jokes throughout the movie. And there was even a decent amount of laugh-out-loud moments as well. I remember the theater, people chuckling, people laughing. So yeah, it was a very fun time. And honestly, if you dislike the movie, that's perfectly fine. If you like the movie, that's perfectly fine. And honestly, in my opinion, I would say that this is even better than the first movie. It was just such a roller coaster of pure joy. I do think there's more story here than people give it credit for. There's more comedy here than people give it credit for. And I definitely think that they did put a lot of work into this movie. This is definitely not, you can call the Super Mario Galaxy movie a lot of things, but this is not a soulless movie. This was not just some cheap cast grab. I do definitely see some heart and soul put into this movie. Could there have been better writing decisions? Of course, And hopefully the third Mario movie is an absolute masterpiece. Bringing in Princess Daisy was an excellent start. And now you should bring in Waluigi, Wario, and Toadette. And we are good. We are good. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you agree with the video? You disagree with the video? Be civil. Respect people's opinions. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.